They changed the seating around.
At the request of the mayor, she wanted everybody out there. And it's also a podcast.
Oh, yeah. Being live?
They won't let it be.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, it's delayed. They haven't determined how long. So it could be 72 hours for you.
All right, let's begin. Let's move on to Mayor's report. And address some allegations that have been out there of illegalities that have occurred or allegedly occurred amongst the township committee members, at least a couple of them. Recently, allegations have been made against township committee members Al Billy, Deputy Mayor Marty LaSala, and myself, that the three of us somehow, in some way, broke the Open Public Meetings Act, or is commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law. We attended the March 18th Barnegat Board of Education meeting. In order to be brief and to the point, as time is slipping away, I would like to state the following. 1, there was no violation of the Sunshine Law. Governing body members are permitted to attend public meetings of other governmental entities. As clearly stated in Mr. Breeden's emails to school administrative staff, alerting them in advance of our attendance, the reason why I attended the meeting was to introduce myself to the entire board and to welcome a strong and productive partnership between the Board of Education and the Township. Mr. LaSala and Mr. Billy joined me to simply demonstrate support and encouragement of the important need to work together for the betterment of Barnegat. Number 3, when invited to executive session by the Board of Education, for reasons I'm still not completely clear about, it was I who expressed concern about the three of us being in executive session, and out of an abundance of caution, only 2 members of the Township Committee participated in closed session discussions. 2 members is not a quorum. It is not a violation of the Sunshine Law, and that has been noted by our Township Attorney. Again, to be clear for the record, there was no violation of the Open Public Meetings Act, and our presence at the School Board of Education meeting was simply to stress the importance of working together in order to move Barnegat forward. Let's talk now about affordable housing. The last public committee meeting, it was announced that the township was entertaining a proposal of an affordable age-restricted housing development just south of Route 9 in Georgetown Boulevard intersection. This proposed project will consist of 70 apartment units of 1 or 2 bedrooms and will be similar in appearance to Laurel Oaks development also on Route 9. The project reflects the collective affordable housing requirements of 2 approved developments west of the Parkway, and as a result of agreeing to this affordable housing project, the township has been successful with reducing the number of family or school-aged homes, enhancing tax collections, and most importantly, securing a sizable donation to Barnegat to help offset the costs of some ongoing recreation-related projects and programs. Specifically, the township has been successful with obtaining a donation from the developers involved with this project in the amount of $225,000, payable over roughly a 2-year period. Tentatively, the township is discussing allocating the large donation in the following fashion. 1, approximately $125,000 to the artificial turf field effort at Lower Shore Road. While most costs are either donated or represent volunteer time, there are still some expenses that are at the township's responsibility. It is our intent to have any direct costs associated with the installation of the donated professional grade turf field to be paid out of this donation, so that when the project is completed, it is below the $20,000 figure agreed upon last year. In other words, the installation of a professional artificial turf playing surface will be at little cost to the township. Number 2, approximately $20,000 will be allocated to the 2014 Summer Dog Concert Series, which has been greatly expanded from the series last year. Number 3, approximately $20,000 will be set aside to help offset the cost of summer camp for deserving families of Barnegat. With the assistance of the schools, the township sponsors a very successful summer camp program, and this funding will be utilized to assist those residents who demonstrate a financial need. And number 4, approximately $15,000 will be used for upgrades to the Barnegat Township Food Bank. Usage of the food bank has drastically increased over the years, and there is a significant need to enhance the ability of the food bank to safely store food commodities. The balance of the community-based donation from the developers will be used to improve and expand upon the recreational opportunities available in Barnegat. Again, the township will receive a total of $225,000 in a cash donation, in addition to other tangible financial benefits realized from supporting this age-restricted, affordable housing project on Route 9. Thank you. We'll move on to committee reports. Deputy Mayor LaSala.
Thank you, Mayor. While mentioned by the mayor, I feel the need to also remark when my name is mentioned on the recent Sunshine Law accusations in order to properly and fully set the record straight. Certain individuals of this Township Committee have recently publicly accused Mayor McCabe, Township Committeeman Billy, and myself of violating the Sunshine Law when attending a recent Board of Education meeting. It is sad that instead of taking the time to gather the facts and determine the reason why we attended the meeting, they simply launched an unfounded attack that is baseless and has no merit. If they took the time and made the effort to determine why we attended the Board of Education meeting, they would have discovered that Al Billy and I went in support of the mayor, who simply wanted to introduce herself to the entire board, along with emphasizing the importance of working together as a team in order to benefit the well-being of Barnegat. There was no hidden agenda beyond that of publicly committing to the Board of Education of our sincere desire to unite in the cause of doing what is best for the property owners of Barnegat. The work of the township is considerable and ongoing. While I would strongly urge all members of this committee to actively engage in the process of governing, I do want to make it painfully clear that nothing will stop me when it comes to improving Barnegat. An old saying that I firmly agree with is, let the workers work and do their job, and you are either in or in the way of progress. The mayor, Al Billy, and I are dedicated to working diligently on behalf of Barnegat. We are ready to make the tough decisions required to effectively govern in this community, along with working with any person or party that represents the best interest of Barnegat. As far as I am concerned, politics and political agendas will take a back seat to the wise decision-making that will improve upon the advanced quality of life experienced in Barnegat. I am dedicated to keeping Barnegat clean and safe. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Committeeman Billy, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, folks. Even though the mayor and the deputy mayor already addressed it in their comments, I feel compelled to follow up and make some additional remarks regarding the recent articles in the news concerning the unfounded allegations surrounding a violation of the Sunshine Law when the mayor, the deputy mayor, and I attended the Board of Education meeting on March 18th. Personally, I feel strongly of the need to attend the meeting with the mayor and deputy mayor to clearly demonstrate our strong support of the mayor, along with our commitment of working together with the Board of Education. Frankly, I was taken back and shocked that members of this committee would recklessly accuse us of violating the Sunshine Law without first attempting to ascertain the facts behind exactly what happened at the meeting. In fact, we took great pains to make sure that we were not in violation of the Sunshine Law by having only 2 members of the committee present in the executive session. And by the way, Martin LaSella and I came in a separate car. The wise decision was affirmed, and was affirmed by the township attorney when he stated there was no violation of the Sunshine Law when only 2 members of the governing body took part in the closed session discussion. Political affiliation is not relevant when it comes to the business of the township. Our position collectively as a committee should be and should always be what is best for Barnegat regardless of the politics. And all decisions involving the township must be made on merit and not on a political agenda. I am hopeful that we can be a teachable moment where we all can fully realize how counterproductive this type of behavior is in the well-being of the community, and we must put aside any differences we have and work together as a team for the improvement of Barnegat. The residents of this township have placed tremendous trust and responsibility in all of us elected officials, and we must not let them down. Please, we need to place this in the rearview mirror and move on. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeeman Moreno, please.
I would have to say that, not being political, would include all 5 members of this township committee. It's not. What's going on is 3 people are running this town right now. And it's not the way it should be. We're all here for the same reason, the good of Barnegat and good of the people. And what should happen is anything that's going to occur, we should all know about it before we sit here and get an agenda and then find out we don't know nothing about it. I'm gonna put it aside and see if the other 3 members of the committee will work together as they promised on January 1st. The coalition, as it's called, no, it's 3 votes and that's the end of it. That's what's running your town right now. I have nothing personal against any person sitting up here. We all have a job to do. We all want to do for the good of Barnegat. And I think my 18 years on this committee did a lot of good for Barnegat. So I'm gonna go for another 3. What the hell? I think what you'll see is that there's no problem with the other 2 members working together as a whole. Just let us know what's going on, that's all I ask. And I would go on and say, we'll all work together. There's a lot of professional people here, a lot of people sitting up here. And we all want the best for what's for the people of Barnegat. Now I want to get off of that, and I just want to get on to on Sunday or Saturday, I believe it was. I guess you all heard the jets out there coming down close to. I got about 15 phone calls, believe it or not, with people panicking that they didn't know what was going on, and they were. And this is, and I'm going to tell you the truth the way they said it to me. I'm under my bed right now because the planes are coming down. Where are they coming from? Unfortunately, it's the United States Air Force. They're out there. They did say that they were going to be doing maneuvers, but they don't know when. It's coming out of McGuire Air Force Base. And they were very low, there's no question about it. But they did kind of scare a lot of the residents, so let me put it that way. But I just want to assure the people out there so everybody knows it's still going to be going on all this month. So if you folks from your organizations can let everybody know in your developments what's going on, it would be a lot helpful. I did get quite a few phone calls, and they wound up to realize after I told them, we can't do nothing. Township committee has no control. It's the United States Air Force. So please tell all your communities, please let everybody know up there what's going on. I appreciate it. And then I get to, we have this coming Saturday is going to start the Easter bunny baskets and all of that. They'll be starting this Saturday to have the Easter festivities in the rec department. Also, all the bands are set up for this year's concerts. We've done extended, as the mayor said. We now have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we have a lot of good bands. We're gonna have a lot of good time, and we'll have fun. Also, we will be serving food. A lot of people have been asking for coffee, drinks, hot dogs. I think we're putting that together for you, so you'll have something to eat or drink down there, as long as it stays clean. And people don't go throwing the papers and everything all over the parking lot. But we're looking forward to a real good, great season, which everyone here has cooperated, I must say. So we'll have a great time, and we'll go forward, and the next few months, we'll see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeewoman Taylor.
Thank you. Obviously, tonight's going to be the discussion on the Open Public Meeting Act. On Tuesday, March 18th, 3 members of the Barnegat Township Committee attended a Barnegat School Board meeting in violation of the Open Public Meeting Act. On March 18th, Barnegat Township Administrator contacted Karen Wood, Superintendent of the Barnegat Schools, via email, informing her that, and I quote, Mayor McCabe, Deputy Mayor LaSella, and Township Committee Member Billy will be attending the Board of Education meeting scheduled for this evening. Mayor McCabe will make brief remarks to the whole board during public comment regarding the Edwards School. There was nothing said about, it may have said, yes, she wants to introduce herself, but the comments were regarding the Edwards School, unquote. According to law, 3 elected officials meeting together to discuss township business must comply with the requirements of Open Public Meeting Act, which includes written notification to the public that a meeting will take place. When seeing the 3 members of the school board meeting, School Board President Denise Pavlovsky retired the school board into executive session. At that point, the 3 members of the township committee went into the executive session, and Mrs. Pavlovsky determined that the 3 were violating the Open Public Meetings Act and requested that 1 member leave. Now, as any first-year law student would know, the school board action does not mitigate the illegal meeting that the 3 elected officials intended to hold, since they were planning on a public presentation, as stated in Mr. Breeden's email. This has got to stop. To think that 3 members feel that they have the right to attend a meeting of the school board to make a presentation in public, when Mr. Morano and I had no idea that A, they were going, or B, what the presentation was even about. This committee has to remember that not one of you are more important or have any more power than any other member on this committee, since we were all elected by the people of Barnegat to serve equally as committee people. Thank you.
Just a point of clarification. When we went into executive session, the school board president began speaking, and I stopped her and said that I was concerned that us going into private executive session to discuss whatever it is I've been brought back there to discuss, I had no idea at the time, was probably improper, and I expressed my concern. I turned to their attorney, their school board attorney who was sitting in the room, and I asked what his opinion was, and he said it probably was fine. Well, probably wasn't good enough for me, so I asked one of the committee members to leave, and we went down to 2 before anything was discussed.
Can you also clarify if that email, about the email from Mr. Breeden, I mean, I can go and pull it up, and that you were there to discuss the Edward School,
The intent-
not just to introduce yourself and say, hi, I'm the mayor.
No, I wasn't there to introduce myself and say, hello, I'm the mayor, and walk away. I was there to introduce myself, advise of my looking forward to trying to work with the school board to come to some resolution over the Edward School beyond leaving an almost historic building boarded up in the middle of Route 9. And also to advise them that there had been an announcement by the state of New Jersey for more funding for towns for more sidewalks.
So
And
that's,
that I wanted to work with them on that to hopefully, potentially obtain some of that funding. That's what I was there to do.
all right, thank you. You proved my point.
Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have one brief but important report tonight dealing with the budget. Can you hear me? At the last couple of township committee meetings, there has been questions surrounding the budget and the impact of certain hires and with the snow on the municipal budget. As I indicated at the last 2 township committee meetings in February and March, the snow indeed was having an adverse impact on our budget, just like every other governmental budget in the state of New Jersey. Late last week, the township received some very preliminary information, financial information regarding our 2013 financial standing, and the vast majority of that information I would consider to be positive or upbeat in nature. Everything seems to be trending in the right direction finally. Building has started to increase. Fees have started to slowly increase. The tax collection rate is almost back at 98% like it was in 2005 and 2006. As a result, hopefully, we will be able to lower our uncollectible tax rate. As a result, the township at this point in time feels rather confident that we will be able to do slightly better than what we did last year. I do believe last year we had a roughly 2-cent increase in our tax rate after 2 previous years of no increase. So we're hoping to do slightly better this year, even considering or taking into account the very active winter season that we have. It is our hope that at the May meeting, we will be able to discuss the budget and start the process of introducing the budget and public review of the document and consistent with state law. Now we can get to the agenda. Page 2 of the agenda, we have a couple of ordinances on for second reading. public hearing this evening, ordinance 2014-04 and 05, deal with amendments to the land use law regarding commercial design standards, in addition to design standards in the historic district. Both these amendments were worked on extensively by the master plan subcommittee. I would say it took them a number of years to fully review the volumes of paperwork associated with the project. I see 2 individuals in the crowd at least that participated in that process. I'm sure they will attest to the significant effort associated with this. At the March meeting, the Township Committee adopted or approved these 2 ordinances on first reading, went to the Planning Board. Planning Board approved both without any change. Thus, Township Committee has these 2 ordinances up for second reading, public hearing, and adoption tonight. Both these ordinances, all these standards are consistent with the current or existing master plan. We have also on page 2, ordinances 2014-10 and 11 for first reading. Both these ordinances are relatively minor in nature with regards to length, but have a major impact on any future development in Barnegat. As a result of securing the town center designation and the commercial core, we're able to increase our impervious coverage in these locations to 70% in the town center, 80% in the commercial core. This hopefully will attract viable developers to Barnegat since they're able to utilize the land versus using only 30%. Again, that is consistent with the master plan, town center agreement, and current state law. On page 3 of the agenda is ordinance 2014-12. It establishes the multifamily age restricted zone in Barnegat. This is a plot of land south of the Georgetown Route 9 intersection. This is the project that the Mayor McCabe referred to in her report. This will be an age-restricted, affordable community of 70 units. As a result of approving this or granting the appropriate zoning, the township will be successful in reducing the number of family houses or single-family homes in Barnegat by 191, in addition to enhancing tax collections by roughly $200,000 to $225,000. We will be getting affordable housing, whether it's west of the Parkway and those 2 developments, or east of the Parkway on Route 9 where there's public transportation. Still on the same page, Resolution 2014-157 deals with the audit. The governing body has to review the general comments of the 2012 audit. We had 5 comments. I'll go over some briefly. One was that cash reconciliation adjusting entries were not put in the general ledger but in the subsidiary ledger. That is a highly technical accounting procedure. The accounting office put some of the adjusting entries in the subsidiary versus the general ledger. Finding number 2, we had interfunds on the balance sheet as of 12/31. We will always have interfunds on the balance sheet as of 12/31. In my opinion, that is good treasury management, using your funds in order to meet your obligations. Number 3, deposits were not made within 48 hours by the construction office. This has been ongoing. It was Hurricane Sandy was in 2012. Much of the 48-hour rule violations were or occurred during Hurricane Sandy, where our focus was on getting our people on the street to help people recover and make a determination whether or not their homes were suitable to move back into. And finally, one was the judge. The judge on several tickets, his approval was not indicated with regards to time payments. And again, during court, we have to realize in Barnegat the number of court sessions have doubled since 2006. Municipal Judge Miller is very talented and skilled. However, most of the time he's talking to one party, listening to another, and writing something down from a third case. At times he may have forgot to put on the back of the ticket, time payment approved. The court has it in their records. It's just important for the judge to write on the back of the ticket and sign off on the approved payment schedule. Page 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and part of 9. Resolutions 158 through 203 are all resolutions dealing with refunds of premiums paid on tax sales. As you know, if a resident does not pay their taxes, they go to tax sale, and this is part of the process in which they redeem the lien. Routine business, this is not taxpayers' money, this is funding that was given to us by the lien holder, and we're refunding it to them once the obligation has been satisfied. Resolution 2014-205 on page 9, effective June 1st, Detective Mike Mitchell will be retiring from Barnegat Police after 25 years of service. His severance pay is roughly $57,000, far less than the $200,000 to $300,000 we were experiencing back in 2005, 2006. That's a result of some very aggressive contractual terms and conditions, which puts limits on the amount of severance pay that they can receive. Page 10, Resolution 2014-218, resolution supporting the New Jersey Department of Health signing a waiver permitting EMTs and police officers to use the nasal Narcan with regards to drug overdoses. I do believe the Barnegat Police Department has in their police vehicles this, what I would call antidote to potential drug overdoses. There's been much public policy debate regarding whether or not this is a good thing. In the eyes of the police department, their motto is to protect and serve, and if they can save a life, then it's worth saving, regardless of how anybody feels about it. So these units are currently in the police cars. A number of our police officers are EMTs, and they are certified to properly use them. Page 11, Resolution 2014-225, resolution authorizing the Barnegat Mayor to sign an agreement with the Township of Ocean regarding delinquent water and sewer bills. In the Pebble Beach section of Barnegat, even though they're Barnegat residents, they are on the Waretown water system. In Barnegat, if a water and sewer customer does not pay, they will go to a tax sale. However, Waretown is not able to take a Barnegat resident to tax sale. Therefore, this agreement will allow Waretown to give us a list of all the delinquent water and sewer customers and put them to tax sale. Currently, the amount of delinquent water and sewer customers in Barnegat that owe the Waretown system is well in excess of $100,000. Waretown is embarking on a very aggressive capital improvement program, which will include Montclair this spring or summer, and a $6.6 million project next year on 11th Street in Seneca. So obviously, when you are undertaking an aggressive capital improvement program, it's important to collect the revenues in a timely fashion. Resolution 2014-228, appointing a affordable housing administrative agent. This will be the Triad Associates firm out of Vineland, New Jersey, for roughly $600 a month between now and the end of December 2014. Funding for this will come out of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. It is a state mandate to have somebody internally or secure outside vendor to do this. In this particular case, since it's paperwork driven and paperwork intense, we felt it was cost efficient to secure the services of a firm that has been doing it for a number of years. Currently, Triad does 24 other communities. Out of the 3 firms that submitted proposals, by far, Triad was the cheapest. Resolution 2014-229, regarding establishing the township governing body as the appropriate redevelopment entity. Back in 2010, the Township of Barnegat identified 3 locations that potentially could be classified as redevelopment zones. Those locations were Shoreline, Sand and Gravel on West Bay Avenue, Tanner's Pit off of Dunning River, and the Edward School property down on Route 9. When a study was done of those three areas, two areas were declared in need of redevelopment, and that would be Tanner's Pit and the Shoreline property. When an area is declared in need of redevelopment, it provides the governing body with flexibility in determining and working with the developer in assessing and determining what ultimately will go in there. When you have a redevelopment zone, you need a redevelopment agency to work and render decisions relevant to the project. In this particular case, the redevelopment agency will be the township committee. So the township committee will have the ability to work with any and all developers who wish to build in these two redevelopment zones to make sure what is built there is exactly what we feel is needed. Again, redevelopment provides greater flexibility than with normal development that is outside of redevelopment zone. And finally,
Dave, one question.
Yes.
Has the planning board gone through that ordinance yet?
the planning board, as part of the redevelopment process, reviewed the three locations and has passed or adopted the appropriate resolutions recognizing both Shoreline and Tanner's Pit in need of redevelopment. So the process has been followed. It's taken about 2 or 3 years, but I do believe back in 2012, both the planning board and the township committee approved the appropriate resolutions recognizing and acknowledging both Shoreline and Tanner's Pit in need of redevelopment. There's a criteria established by the state. I think there's 8 items on that criteria, and you have to satisfy a certain number. Both those locations obviously satisfy the redevelopment.
And can you confirm that this resolution will in no way impact the Edwards School whatsoever?
As I stated earlier, the Edward School, though initially considered for redevelopment, did not satisfy the criteria, therefore is not an area in need of redevelopment. So the redevelopment agency in this particular case will be taking a look at 2 locations. I'll make this painfully clear. Shoreline, Tanner's Pit. Tanner's Pit, Shoreline. Those 2 locations have been deemed in need of redevelopment, endorsed, approved by both the planning board and the township committee. All right, thank you. And finally, as a result of the closed session, we will be adding one resolution, resolution 2014-230, resolution of the township of Barnegat consolidating firefighting responsibilities and duties in the township, including all related property and firefighting equipment, under the authority of Barnegat Fire Company Number 1. The Township Committee and myself have studied this, and though it may seem like a complex issue, at the end of the day, the financial realities come crashing down on the township, and we simply cannot afford 2 separate fire companies. Taking a look at the call volume in Barnegat Township, Barnegat Fire responds to roughly 80% of the calls, Pinewood Estates to approximately 20%. But whenever Pinewood Estates has anything of significance occurring in their area, Barnegat Fire also responds. Township is broken down into two zones. Barnegat Fire covers everything from the bay to essentially Pancoast Road. Pinewood Estates covers from Pancoast Road to the township line, which is the county line on 72. So looking at the call volume, looking at the response volume, Township of Barnegat experiences roughly 500 calls per month, of which essentially 400 occur in Barnegat Fire Zone, 100 occurs in Pinewood, and again, anything significant with respect to Pinewood, Barnegat Fire also responds. Both fire departments are in need of apparatus, in addition to other safety equipment and firefighting supplies and material. As we discovered, firefighting equipment is not cheap, it's very expensive. If the township was to maintain 2 separate fire departments, we would have both a moral and legal obligation to furnish them with tools of the trade so they can do their job safely, which this year would cost roughly $1.1 million. Both departments need a pumper, both departments need turnout gear, communication equipment, cars, and other equipment, tools, and materials necessary to effectively and safely do the job. Myself and this township committee take the public safety of Barnegat very seriously. This was a difficult decision, but a necessary decision based upon finances and operational concerns, based upon the fact that Barnegat Fire responds to 80% of fire calls in Barnegat, in addition to supplementing significant calls in Pinewood Estates territory. With the adoption of this resolution tonight, the township will take the necessary action to commence the process of consolidating Pinewood into Barnegat Fire. Those individuals in Pinewood which are eligible, to enlist with Barnegat Fire will be invited to do so. The township expects a seamless transition. We have both Barnegat and Pinewood people staying back there tonight. We expect nothing less. There will be no interruption of service. The transition will be immediate. So there will be no interruption of service. If somebody out there picks up the phone and needs help, help will arrive. This is not an easy thing to do. There's no easy way to consolidate one fire company into another. Any premature release of this information could have caused misinformation and rumor out in the two mobile home developments, in addition to areas west of the Parkway. The township will be reaching out to the homeowners association of both mobile home developments tomorrow to set up a meeting as soon as possible to advise residents of what happened. At the end of the day, we firmly believe that 1, there will be no interruption of service, and 2, as a result of Barnegat Fire assuming responsibilities in the Pinewood area, fire safety would be maintained at acceptable levels. We feel confident and comfortable with this action. It represents the best financial interest of the township, in addition to addressing operational issues when you have 2 fire departments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. All right, can I have a motion to open to public comment, please? All right, we are open for public comment.
I want to ask you something. Even for this?
Maxine Blumenthal, 160 Brighton Road. I was here in November and brought to the Township Committee the problem of a safety issue with regard to turning into Brighton of Barnegat if you are eastbound. There is no shoulder of the road, there is no turning lane. I particularly spoke with Committeeman Billy, who said that he sent a letter to Senator Connors.
I did so.
May I ask if there was any reply?
At this time, no. I said the second request, I handed it to him about 4 weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for a response. I have been making phone calls to his office.
Okay.
He then has to contact the state to have the study done. So I will not let it go, but there's been 2 requests at this point.
Okay, and the township engineer, sir, have you personally been to the site to see what it is that concerns the residents so much? May we ask that you do that? Because it's going to take, I'm afraid, a head-on crash resulting in either destruction of property or death. On a daily basis, we sit in the westbound turning lane waiting to go into our development. Cars coming eastbound get annoyed at a car slowing, and they go around, and before we know it, we're in this position. And time again, they barely make it around and get over to their own lane. So I think it's going to take considerable effort, not only from Mr. Billy, but from the committee as a whole, from the township engineer, and from Senator Connors. I will tell you, if he personally gets involved, it may happen. Okay?
I will continue to do
Thank you very much.
Sir?
You up there?
Yes, please. Can you just state your name and address, please?
Matthew Winnick, 232 Edison Road. I want to question, what he's saying, consolidating the two fire departments, is a good move, but did they do a simulated emergency with what the loss of time would be in response Barnegat going to Pinewood? How much loss of time going to a fire, because a minute, 2 minutes to make? That's it. Oh, yeah, I do them too?
Is that all?
No, Barnegat Dock.
Yes.
Guys are doing a good job. They lose a lot of money because township doesn't give the dockmaster a map of Barnegat residents. So everybody from Waretown comes over, they have a Barnegat mailing address. They flip their license, which shows to them it's Barnegat, and we lose 50% of the money from them. Every one. Number two, the people come in, they get stickers, just like a car, you put it on your car. They say, no, give it to me, I put it on my truck, put it on plexiglass. They pass it all around. They put on 10 jet skis, 6, they pass it around. And then there's an unwritten rule, the commercial haulers, they pay resident fees, where the ordinance says they pay non-resident. We lose 50% of that money, which it all adds up, especially with Waretown, there's so many people there.
Excellent points.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Frank, come on up.
Good job. Good job. I had a question, I didn't get an answer. So.
Frank Betsy, 11 Hemlock. Resolution 225. I know, Dave, you discussed it, and it's our agreement with Ocean. As far as the billing, you know, in other words, you're saying that we, okay, meaning we will take the action? Who's going to take the
Let me
action?
explain it again. We have Barnegat residents.
I am-
Let me
that-
go through for the
that I
benefit of the
know.
audience.
Okay.
We have Barnegat residents living in Barnegat that are on the Waretown system. Waretown sends them a bill. When
Right.
they don't
Pay
pay,
it, right.
there's no mechanism in place to put them on a lien. What this agreement will do is that Waretown will send us a list. We will take that list and put it into our tax sale.
And
Any revenue generator from that tax sale will go to Waretown.
so we're doing the work, and Waretown will collect the money. I don't know what Waretown did the 15 years I was here, or prior to that.
They never collected the
They
money.
never collected it, they never cut the water up. As long as it's not costing us anything, you know? It's good to be a good guy, but we've been a lot of good guys lately. Now,
Yeah, and with Montclair, yeah,
all right,
we have a great arrangement with Waretown, and anything less,
who's the business administrator? Dave?
Right.
No?
he's a good guy. 229. Yeah, redevelopment. See, I have a problem with the wording, the redeveloped entity. The two that you mentioned, the two sites that you mentioned, Tanner's and the Stone and Gravel, that I was involved in. First of all, my friends from DEP were here, and I said that when I was on the planning board, that neither of those sites can do anything. I don't want us to spend any money until DEP cleans up. Tanner's Pit, they've never complied. There's no compliance. That I found out, no compliance. In order to comply, 100 mil, okay, leachate collection system, you know, burners, they don't have any of that. So I don't want the town to spend money looking at these two areas of redevelopment until they're cleared by DEP. I don't want us to put any money into something. I've got pictures. I've got pictures of tiles, cement, asphalt. I mean, loads of pictures. Some of my friends are here in the back. They took pictures for me. So it's not a good deal. And when the Edward School, and I kept on saying the Edward School, what is the big thing with the Edward School? I've asked the Board of Education, special needs. There are a lot of things they could do with it. I was on a board, our superintendent, won't mention his name, decided to close it because he didn't like the principal, and it passed monitoring at that time. We haven't done, that's the truth. I don't lie, you know, the lights come back and kick you in the
rear end. So,
I hope they like the principal.
I would rather not that resolution, getting back to that resolution 229, and an entity. I don't believe it should be an entity. People up here change too quickly. In other words, you've got the redevelopment, and I'm looking at the rules of redevelopment right here, okay? And what's it say, Dave? They're worried about it, and they changed the local redevelopment and housing law. And the reason they did is because towns started to eminent domain. I'm not saying you're going to do it. I just want the people to be aware that there are pitfalls in it too. Thank you.
Jake?
Jake Taylor, 106 North. First, I got a brief question for our counselor there. Sharkey, did you file the deeds on the right away yet? If not, when?
No. 3 of the 4 of them that have been approved, I don't know if they've been sent yet, but if they haven't been sent, they'll be sent in the next day or 2. The 4th one has not been sent only because it's, the 4th one is the section of land that's going to the New Jersey Natural Lands Trust, and I don't.
They haven't received it. I'm in contact with them people, and
I've sent the draft out to them, and I've not yet, I want to make sure that they accept it and it's okay with them, since it's gonna be
but
their.
you're going to file all the deeds as required, correct?
I will. 3 of them are either done or are about to go. The 4th one, as soon as I get the New Jersey Natural Lands Trust to sign off, it'll go.
All right, I got you covered, thanks. On the, Dave made a few remarks. I know that's coming up for second reading on the 70 age restricted. My question is, he ain't here, and is in your ordinance passed last meeting, you said that the township committee, the governing body, which is all 5 of you, I think, and has decided a need for these 70 apartments. Where'd you get this study? Or you just,
The study for.
where's the study that you said in your ordinance, you determined there is a need for the 70 senior apartments? Where'd you get the study? Where'd you find the need at? That's what the ordinance says.
Well, of course, there are legal requirements through code that we have to follow, also developers, sorry.
You told me that you did a study and what it says here, you decided, the governing body, that you need the 70 apartments.
Correct. Developers, when they
Oh, the
develop.
developers decided. I know they pay taxes.
Developers don't decide.
No.
What happens is when developers go and make a development or want to make a development, they have a certain code of requirements. They have to put X amount of affordable housing in their development.
I know all that.
Okay. So what's your
But the
question?
township committee decided that you needed them.
Let's stop right there. The affordable housing's coming, regardless. It's either gonna be 65 units on the west side of the parkway in 2 developments, or 70 units in 1 location on Route 9. So the affordable housing's coming. There's nothing you can do to stop it. What the township did was acknowledge that if we take those 2 developments and place the affordable housing on Route 9, number 1, we eliminate 191 single-family homes. That reduces the number of school kids. Number 2, we enhance our tax collection revenue because we don't have affordable housing single-family home, but we have a market rate family home, in addition to getting the $225,000 cash donation.
Yeah.
So the bottom line, Jake, is affordable housing is
You got
coming.
affordable housing, which you collect no taxes on. You say they're going to take $250,000 from the developer. This is a pittance of what the developer would pay. We collect taxes on single homes. These 70 apartments, you will not collect real estate taxes on. We have 96 apartments on Route 9 and 44 across the old A&P. Most of them are empty. We do not collect enough taxes. There's over 10 kids going to school right now from Laurel Oaks, which is $170,000 in school fee, with no taxes at all coming in from Laurel Oaks yet.
So you should be embracing this because we have reduced the number of single-family homes coming into Barnegat. In addition, Jake, we have discussed this a million times.
Yeah.
With respect to affordable housing, the township is not allowed by state law to charge them
You,
property
the governing
taxes,
body of the
honesty.
municipality, determined there is a need for the housing project in this municipality. How did you decide this need? That was my major first question. But I want to get on to my major why I got up here. Back on 2000 ordinance, resolution 2013-224. Be it further resolved, and our mayor at the time was a deputy mayor, I guess, that the total cost to complete the Lower Shore Road turf field shall not exceed the amount of $20,000. In my spare time, I opened this bill from equipment for the amount of $60,041.69, which you paid $35,000 to the United Rental for the equipment down there at the field. That's what. And now remember, now we passed an ordinance not to spend only $20,000. This bill is for $60,000. That's 3 times as much. But also involved in here is late charges. Who's running? What kind of financial business are we running here? The township paid over $1,000 in late charges. I mean, come on, I don't even pay them. You got to use your head once. That's my tax money. Now, the ordinance that you proposed, $20,000. Now, this bill here says $60,000 already. It's not done yet. But the ordinance says shall not exceed $20,000. How did you exceed the $20,000? This bill here says $60,000.
I think, Mayor, I think that was explained at the last meeting, Jake. We expanded the scope of work of the project. Initially, the $20,000 was earmarked for just the turf field. We informed Mr. Cotton that we wanted him to do the perimeter of the entire complex with the old artificial turf. So instead of taking 4 to 6 weeks to complete, it's taken 6 months, and he still has roughly.
At the time this ordinance, at the time this resolution was established, there was many people, residents took the floor here and objected to spending any more money on the field, which is now over $700,000. I listed each one, and I can bring them to the meeting and read them off. We spent over $700,000 on that field already. Now, this is just the last bill I got, $60,000. But it was decided at the time, and the engineer, I think, was here, sitting up there, and I used to sit here, said, he made a recommendation that, it would be better to spend the $20,000 than get rid of it at the $100,000 and get rid of everything. Because a lot of people wanted to just throw the towel in. Our mayor now was on the committee at the time. She made the thing that it was only going to cost $20,000. It was going to cost $100,000 to haul the turf away. The turf we got for nothing now. Of course, we paid $28,000 to have it shipped here. But anyhow, when the people made the decision, it was because it was only going to cost $20,000 to fix it. I looked at the films over and over again to make sure I knew what I was talking about. Marty had a large comment. You said you agree with what Raphael said. And for the $20,000, you said it would be good to finish it. It's now, I don't know how much over 60, I will know, but right now it's over 60,000. But at that resolution, at that time when the people were objecting to it in Barnegat, you said you were only going to spend 20. How could you make it 60? Not that you expanded the project. You don't have that right. The resolution said you're only going to spend 20. And it's my tax money, not yours.
Hi, Linda Croft, 38 Bridgewater's Passage. Regarding Resolution 229, is there any possibility that that resolution could be held so that it's more specific to the 2 properties you're relating to?
They are the only 2 properties in Barnegat that will fall under the realm of redevelopment. Therefore, they would be the only 2 areas that the Township Redevelopment Committee could address.
And is there anywhere that is stated?
It is stated in numerous backup resolutions from the.
I know, because I went to the research, and I had to go through various things and also to go to the state for the statute. But would it not have been easier to specifically state that in this resolution, that it's limited to those 2 properties alone?
They are the only, again, they're the only 2 redevelopment properties. There are numerous blocks and lots. I think we made it crystal clear tonight that those are the only 2 properties that we're concerned with regards to redevelopment.
Okay. And Mayor, you had mentioned they were getting developer monies, and part of that was going to go to offset the turf.
Correct.
Will that go back to open space? The monies?
Monies to open space from that amount?
Yes.
We can derive monies from
It,
that amount.
it will go back to open space. Very good, thank you.
Sir? Trying to get, sorry. Hang in there, everybody. Working out here.
Ray Leszczak, 116 Redwood Drive. On the situation explained by Mrs. Blumenthal for Brighton at Barnegat, we have an identical situation at Pinewood Estates. It's the same exact thing. You're sitting in that left lane turn. I don't know how many times I had some car go to pass another car going slow and would have it aiming right at me.
I know this has been an issue for years. I know this has been explored
Yeah,
for
so-
a couple years now, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Breeden, that it was brought to the DOT's attention and the DOT rejected the notion.
As we all know, it is a state highway. State highway DOT has certain requirements in order to install traffic signals, flashers, additional turning lanes or acceleration, deceleration lanes. They're very rigid in their approach. Mr. Billy has been working with DOT, sent 2 letters trying to grab their attention. I'm confident Mr. Billy will continue in that quest and get some sort of satisfactory response.
Okay.
And understand that the Township of Barnegat, and I know you do, because I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
we've been talking about this for years now. The Township of Barnegat, you can't put in a light. We can't put in a merge lane, a change lane, a turn sign, nothing. We can't do it.
Yeah, I know.
It's not our road, okay?
I know it's strictly the state.
Yeah. Okay.
On the fire department, is that going to be completely shut down or?
Not at all.
No.
No.
It's going to be turned into ostensibly what we can call a substation, if you will.
Oh,
There'll be
okay.
equipment there. I'm communicating with EMS, and I'm hopeful to have an EMS unit out there as well. And then there'll be individuals with the Barnegat Fire Department who specifically live more out that way that'll be designated for that area.
Okay.
So there's many things in play.
Oh, it'll still be active.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, great.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Ed Brennan, 10 Windy Reef Court. I think when Mr. Breeden was reading over all the resolutions, he missed one of the very important resolutions, 224, resolution appointing members to the Senior Advisory Board. On March the 14th, a letter of 7 names was submitted to Ms. Auer, and they were Mrs. Sue Harper, Dorothy Ryan, Jane Benjamin, Maxine Blumenthal, Edward F. Brennan, Robert Kaczynski, Elizabeth Marino. I'd like to know if they are the names that were approved by the board.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It's improved for you. There you go.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much.
Take care. Sir?
John Murren, 38 Pierhead Drive, Barnegat. Good luck, Mayor. For 16 years, I was the mayor in a town up north, so I know what you're going through.
What town is that, by the way?
Pompton Lakes,
Oh,
Passaic
beautiful
County.
area.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous area. I was also an administrator in a school, so worked both sides.
Yes, I'm
I'd like to thank you, Mr. LaSalle and Mr. Billy, for attending the school board. I think the communication between those 2 parties is absolutely necessary, and anybody can attend. All 5 of you can go to a school board meeting. You're individual citizens. You're not taking action as a board. You can go as yourself and be there. It's so very important, really. The majority of our taxes are spent at the school. You should be aware of what's going on, absolutely, and they should be aware of where you stand. As far as the sidewalks, I think that'd be a great idea if we can get more money to do that. It saves on busing 1,000%. You're all equal, except I think the mayor can perform weddings. At least that's what I enjoyed doing that, and that was a wonderful experience. It really is. Yeah, it's fabulous, fabulous. I want to thank the DPW superintendent and you, Mr. Breeden, for the snow removal, this terrible cold we had all winter. I think they did an outstanding job, really. It's absolutely amazing. Lenny, I'm glad the War of the Worlds did not happen, okay? The War of the Worlds. It's fine. Resolution 229 about the redevelopment entity. I certainly support redevelopment 1,000%, and maybe you can fill me in. You can entice a developer to come to a certain area.
would they then have to go to the planning board and the zoning board if necessary? Yes, they'll still have to follow that proper
They
process.
do have to follow a proper process. It's not a rubber stamp, oh, you wanna put up a hotel, fine,
Yeah.
boom. It's not like that. It has to
Okay.
go through all the
I just want to make sure
process.
they.
There's some incentives.
Excellent. I think it's great that you do something like that and get things rolling. Fabulous. Affordable housing is never easy to explain, Dave. I know. People, it's hard to understand. It's mandated. We have to do it. Route 9 is by far the best location. You have public transportation there, and that's what's needed right there. And thank you all for your time and effort.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, in the back. Thank you for your patience. I've seen your hand up the entire time.
Dave Moore, 70 Roseville Road. I'm here to talk about open space. I see that you have done your homework and maybe appointed some new members to, or at least reappointed members to Open Space Committee. I was concerned about that, but I see there's other committees that were not appointed as well. But I'm looking forward to working together with the committee on designating open space in Barnegat. We know how important it is. We know that all you have to do is walk on the rail trail on a Sunday afternoon and you see how people use it. It's also important to, we're trying to stretch our open space dollars, what we have, by partnering with the county in order to preserve open space. This works really well for a number of reasons. If you can get the county on board, you can cost share, you can get the county to design, to build, to maintain the facilities. So we have one site that we are particularly interested in, and I think we all know where it is. We all know where it is, the site?
I do.
Okay, it's for those who don't know, it's behind the new storage building in the south end of town, off of Lower Shore Road, I believe. This is a critical area for a number of reasons. It's the Gunny River flows through it. It does have wetlands on it. It also has an access point to, there's a right-of-way that runs south from there that could be a potential extension of the rail trail from the south side of town. Barney could be the hub of a rail trail. I mean, this is a great thing. I know that the county, off the record, has interest in that as well. The county is willing to support us. We just need to have an open space committee in place. We need to have some preservation of our funds, and we can go with it. So I appreciate any of your support you can give.
I'll see you at the next meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Anybody else? Going once? Going twice?
Motion to close the public.
Motion to close the public portion.
Second.
Okay. On to old business, ordinance 2014-04, second reading.
An ordinance to amend chapter 55 land use to establish commercial design standards for uses permitted within the CPHD, Planned Highway Development Commercial, CN Neighborhood Commercial, CD Village Commercial, and CM Marine Commercial zones, as well as the Town Center TC-CPHD, TC-CN, and TC-CD.
Okay, it's a mouthful. Motion to open to public comment.
So moved.
Second.
Any comment? Jake?
One brief question. When we passed the last ordinance a few years back, when we made that historic area, what happened?
That's the next one.
Huh?
Next one.
I think that's one of the historic area?
No.
I'm sorry. Next one.
Motion to close public comment.
So moved. Second.
All right, motion to adopt ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeewoman Taylor?
Yes.
Committeeman Billy?
Yes.
Committeeman Morano?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lasella?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McKay?
Yes. Ordinance 2014-05, second reading.
An ordinance to amend chapter 55 land use to establish architectural design standards for construction within the historic district and the historic district transition area in accordance with the 2011 Barnegat Township Master Plan.
Motion to open to public comment.
So moved. Motion. Second.
All right, Jake, come on up.
Now? Take care, I want to sit there. What happened, back when we made that historic, some residents, is the township current residents, did some work on their homes, and Dave probably would remember this. And they were charged an additional inspection fee, I think of $50 or something, which, because it had to be inspected, like, to make sure the window, whatever, this was involved with the window. And the woman was objecting. I think she ended up getting her 50 back, but I think we changed something. Other words, if a person lived, there's a lot of people that live in this area that live here permanently, and they did work on their house, and they were required to, like, put a certain type of window in. You couldn't put a modern fancy window. You had to put a window that historically window. And they were charged extra, not for the window, for the inspection and stuff that complied with the ordinance, which was wrong, and it was weird out that I think she got her 50 back. But I don't want these people included where they're going to have to pay extra to fix their house. You understand what I mean?
I do.
I have the person's name home.
I vaguely remember that, and I do believe they were reimbursed the $50.
I don't want this to get.
Please be aware when you're dealing with historic restoration and rehabilitation, usually the cost is more expensive because you're dealing with more expensive material, and the detail work may be more extensive than with a normal home.
Yeah.
But we will not, it's my belief, we will not charge them extra for the inspection.
Yeah, it was the inspection and have this historic guy do it. The people paid to have their historic window or whatever it was, but that the extra cost for inspection or something like that, that's what we don't want in there. I hope it's not in there, that's why we're.
That has nothing to do with it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So you mean there was a special, you're saying there was a special inspector that had to come?
That's what they said, yeah.
Okay, okay. I want to make sure I understand. Okay, so motion to close the public comment? Oh, I'm sorry, strike that motion. Come on up, my apologies.
Ray Lefbeck, 116 Redwood. This is a curiosity question. It says here, historic district transition to what? Is it from historic to something modern, or?
Probably a small transition area that allows more flexibility with regards to renovating your home. Usually the historic district, you may have a core, then you have some outlying areas.
Okay, I was just curious.
Make sure. Anybody else? Okay. Motion to close the public.